The Fallen Saber is a mid-tier difficulty GM Nightfall, different from your typical strike experience in that combat is mostly in small enclosed spaces. But, thanks to Arcburn, you're going to be able to AoE a lot of this strike down. Loadouts. You are going to need anti-barrier and overload stunning capabilities, a lot of overload stunning. Divinity, yet again, will make your life very, very easy. There is no reason not to have one Divinity on your team. If you don't have Divinity, you actually have the ability to use an SMG in this strike due to all of the close range encounters, at least in the second half. Anti-barrier will demand you use Arbalest for easy removal, and you will definitely want the ability to remove these shields quickly in certain areas because you will occasionally have a barrier servitor shielding an overload captain, which is a nightmare. As for your heavy weapon, my team easily cleared this place out with 2 people on Hothead for the bonus arc damage and 1 Gjallarhorn to supply the Wolfpack rounds. I can very easily suggest this for any and all teams. Thanks to all of the arc damage coming in, Riskrunner is a completely viable pick. My friend Angel was actually using Forbearance, the arc wave frame grenade launcher from the raid, and it was doing some serious work thanks to the fact that a lot of enemies are just going to be clustered up in groups, and he had chain reaction on his. If you don't have that, feel free to break out Salvager's Salvo. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's not good, because it is. If you don't have Hothead plus Gjallarhorn, honestly everyone on Gjallarhorn will probably work, but if you don't have that, then put on your strongest weapons and don't worry about the arc burn too much. Linear fusions will be fine, you'll just move a little bit slower, but also get a Hothead. Like, what are you doing? Subclass wise, we don't need to get fancy here. The usual works: Sentinel Titans, Nightstalker Hunters, and basically any Warlock. I don't think you need Well of Radiance, but it'll always be welcome. Just know that it may still be possible to be one-shot by a sniper while in a well. Normally, I would say Sentinels should be on Banner Shield, but I think Ward might actually be a wiser choice due to the ability to nuke the final boss. I don't think you can go wrong with either one, though. There are also some spots where a Saint 14 Ward may be helpful. Hunters, Omnioculus isn't too bad here, but if you wanted to just stick with Orpheus, that's totally fine. Mod-wise, same old, same old. You'll definitely want arc resistance here, double it up because basically everything deals arc damage. And again, if you just wanted to stick with reliable mods like Finders, Anti-Champion, Resistance, and Scavenger mods, that is totally fine. I don't think you really need anything extra. Make sure you do have on Lucent Finisher, though. It will let you completely blast through this strike, along with Aeons if you can afford it, which, let's be honest, you can. Starting from the top, defending the Warsat. Stay very far away from it until it actually crashes into the ground, because the radius that it can kill you is actually massive. In this first area, it is very easy for things to go south quickly. Your number one priority will be the dropships. Their turrets are arc damage, and they hurt incredibly badly. You will want to shoot off the turrets on every ship as they come in before they get to the drop zone. Take this section slow if you need to. You stand in the circle, you get some percentage, and then you hop out when the enemies come in, rinse, repeat. The enemies to look out for here are the invisible marauders with the shotguns. They will absolutely nuke you if you take your eye off of them or if they get close. The Overload Captain will spawn in the final wave of enemies, which is around mid-30s percentage. Make sure everything is dead before progressing the defense of the Warsat beyond, let's call it 36, 37%. Specifically that number, yes. I believe at 39%, you will trigger the next set of dropships. Multiple ships with turrets. And the last thing you want is to be fighting enemies from the first dropship while 2 more dropships are coming in, nuking you in the butt. Timing this very specifically will help you reduce a lot of problems. For this next part, you can stay up on the rocks or rotate so that the Warsat is in between you and the dropships. This next group of ads isn't as dangerous, but watch out for the invisible sniper vandals that are going to rush towards you. They are part of the first wave of enemies in this batch. You'll also have some orange bar dregs. They aren't a big deal though, along with a barrier servitor, again, which is also no big deal. At 69%, yeah, I know, the final dropship will enter where the first one came in. This is a ramped up version of the first wave of enemies that you fought. You're going to have a lot more stuff dropping in, so you should take this slowly. Kill off waves as they show up, hop out of the circle, etc., etc. Or you can have a hunter just stay invis within the circle the whole time, get it to 100%, and despawn everything. Your choice. Just make sure you tag the champions just in case. It's probably better just to kill them, as I'm not sure if them despawning will mess with your platinum rating. You've been warned. The next room is inside the bunker. Now, historically, the way I've handled this room in the past was stand behind these two crates, spam whatever you can, and hope for the best. This is not a good strategy because it's terribly inconsistent. What I will recommend is going off to the left and using this hallway to kill stuff. You will need to monitor the doorways for enemies that will spawn out of them as you kill things in the main room, so just have one person keep eyes out for them. Otherwise, one rocket from everyone with Pack Hunter active should take out a lot of this room. Kill everything that you can, but avoid killing the barrier servitor until everything else has been cleared out, because killing it will spawn a new wave of enemies, namely Overload Captains. After the additional captains are dead, you can trigger part 2 of this room by activating the thing, and you shoot the thing, you know what it is. You'll want to fight either in the same hallway or on the opposite side of where you came in, which is where you are right now, or where you should be. Either one is fine. Take out the exploder shanks, the invisible vandals, and the sniper shanks, probably in that order, before killing the overload captains to ensure a safe finisher space in case you don't have the fragment that makes you invisible on finisher, which I will almost always recommend in a GM Nightfall. Drop down, head to the electric hallway, and take out the shanks at the opposite end. Now, what I've been doing lately is having my teammates stay at where the deposit is for the ball, and then I go grab the ball and I just run it down mid by myself. You can do this by spamming slide over and over. This might take a practice run or two to really get the hang of, but if you feel like the electricity wave is going to hit you, feel free to just duck out and get to safety. If you are a non-running teammate, try to kill the shanks near the deposit, preferably while your teammate is not close to them. There will be an explosive shank spawning by the deposit, and I would suggest getting it to finisher range and hitting a finisher to punt it away from the deposit. In the next room is just pure chaos. Lots of enemies of all different types and shapes and sizes. However, you have the hallway to use as safety, so if anything gets out of hand, you can just retreat. This is a decent room to use supers in, but if you just wanted to hold them until the boss, I think that's fine. This will be a cacophony of enemies spawning in at specific times. The more you kill, the more that's going to show up. Be aware of melee vandals that will rush you. There are definitely some invis marauders with shotguns as well. Be ready for that. But most other stuff should stay on the other side of the room, or at the very most, come halfway towards you. Take out the champions as they spawn in if you can. It's much easier to handle them one by one, as opposed to a whole bunch of them spawning in, and then the barriers giving people shields and blah, blah, blah. It's super annoying. In this final room before the boss, feel free to poke at the dregs and the servitor if you have the means. There will be sniper vandals here as well, so just be aware of them. You can also push in to this room and kind of hide behind the corner. Just be ready to aggressively use cover. The big encounter in this room is the triple captain wave. If you have Divinity, stunning all three at the same time will be very easy, and you can nuke all of them with a rocket from everyone with Pack Hunter active. If you don't have Divinity, you're going to need to isolate one if possible, but they are going to want to stay pretty grouped up. Keep your distance if you don't have Divinity, take things one at a time, but you really should try to burst them down. Use finishers if possible. Make sure everyone has full power ammo before the boss. This is the #1 priority. Finally, we're moving to the boss. Keep in mind, this ramp is still broken. Try not to touch this decline on the way down, or you might die. You will likely die. Don't touch it. So the boss is somewhat dangerous in every stage of the fight, of which there are 4. You will have shanks spawning continuously throughout the fight. Mostly the regular ones from the sides of the room, but some exploders will spawn up close and some snipers will spawn in the far windows. The exploders and the snipers will spawn a little bit into the fight. Note that basically all electric hazards that appear in this room are more or less a one-shot on you. Try to find any cover that you can that isn't covered in electricity. The best way to handle this fight is to burst the boss down. Gjallarhorn shoots a rocket, the other two players shoot a rocket or two, and that should honestly be enough. Just spam the boss until he goes immune, and a barrier servitor spawns in, of which you can get even more heavy ammo with Lucent Finisher. The boss will only snipe you if you start to get close while it's immune, but if you want a finisher, you need to get close, so just be careful. A finisher on the barrier servitor. The snipe the boss does is basically a one-shot, whether they're immune or not. This is why cover is so important during the first half of the fight. You're going to do this one more time with the boss in solar sniper mode. Simply nuke the boss again with another round of rockets and throw in some Divinity for good measure with the Wolfpack rounds, if you can. After the second immunity, the boss is going to go into void mode. At this point, damage supers should be popped. Use Ward of Dawn, use Well, whatever damage buffs you have, and unleash hell. Burn everything that you have as fast as humanly possible. As long as you have a small handful of rockets, the boss should go down really quick, well before they become a problem. If you don't have enough, you are going to need to kite the boss around in their arc phase, which will get very dicey considering all of the electric hazards and continuously spawning shanks. It's best to simply be prepared for the boss going into this room, then trying to wing it in the middle of the fight. Trust me, you don't want to try to wing this fight. Best of luck in there. Again, patience is key, but keep power ammo high, use those finishers, and you can be in and out in 20 minutes. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. So why are you using Severance Enclosure?
Because it's fun.
All right, fair enough.